We'll talk more about Harris's VP choice. We're joined by political analyst Jack O'Donnell. Jack, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Certainly a busy one for a lot of folks in political land. First, give us your initial reactions to Mr. Walz there.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. Look, I think this is a great pick by Vice President Kamala Harris. Governor Walz brings a lot to the Democratic ticket, brings experience in Congress, experience as an executive. You know, this is a guy who is a hunter at home, but believes in safe, reasonable gun safety laws. This is a guy who was a teacher and has been on the front lines. And this is a guy who really speaks with a lot of kind of Midwestern honesty. And I think we've heard some of that, and that's kind of what shot him up here. And then at the end of the day, it sounds like when he and Vice President Harris got together, things really synced.
Maybe beyond his record, what do you think led Harris to choosing him as the running mate compared to, say, Shapiro?
It really sounds like a lot of this is personal comfort level, but also the extent of their records. I think Josh Shapiro has done a fantastic job as governor of Pennsylvania, but it's been a short time. And so a lot of what you need to deal with as vice president is often even bigger than your state. And I think if you look at Tim Walz is governor, his experience in Minnesota, he's got a record of getting things done, but he's also got a record in Congress. He's got a record of standing up for Israel. He's got a record of votes on tough issues and national policy and some of those things. And it's hard to just walk into that no matter how diverse or important your state is.
A lot of people are looking at this sort of as the electoral map, if you will, where Tim Walz will be able to sort of maybe grab the attention of folks in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in those upper battleground states. But then what do you think that does, Jack, to places like Pennsylvania or places like in Arizona? Are those now in play, or do you not give too much credence to that governorship and or you've got a senator there?
You know, I think strategists, insiders really like to dissect these picks and say, oh, it's going to help you in this state, it's going to help you somewhere else. I really think at the end of the day, it is what does your ticket stand for? What is your principle, right? Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, what do they stand for? These picks, I think, really help reinforce those. And I think you see that in this one. It reinforces some of that common sense, pragmatic leadership that I think we're hearing from Kamala Harris. I absolutely think she has helped put the Sun Belt states, whether that's Arizona, North Carolina, back in play. I think a guy like Tim Walz, yes, he's going to play well in Wisconsin and Michigan. I think that's equally true in Western Pennsylvania, and, you know, in ways that people like us in Western New York understand.
Interesting to note, too, that this first political rally is going to be in Philly, featuring, of course, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and Governor Shapiro.
Absolutely. I think you saw that all the other contenders here endorsed him really quickly. The fact that we saw Democrats with such diverse values as AOC and Joe Manchin from West Virginia both saying, hey, this is a really good pick. I think that tells you a lot about what's been added to the ticket today.
And maybe let's just do a little compare and contrast. How do you think they'll work together?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think they're going to be a really good team. And that's why I think, you know, what we're hearing out of the Harris camp today is that really that personal meeting, that synergy is what sold her on him. So, you know, again, she is vice president. She's been vice president. She understands some of the dynamics of this. You know, I think she's going to talk a lot about her record, her vision for the country. And I think he's going to fulfill some of that attack dog role, right? And really take on the Republican ticket here and tell people what they think. And we've heard from Tim Walz what he thinks. They're weird.
Jack O'Donnell from O'Donnell and Associates. Jack, thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.